Hello, everybody! How is everyone? What is up? So, today I cannot get my camera to work, so we are recording over what may be a black screen. I might be able to get some images up. But the topic of today is the Ballinger family. Yes, formerly Chris Ballinger, the YouTube channel Ballinger Family, which on the surface follows the life of Chris, the brother of Colleen Ballinger, more famously known as Miranda Sings, and Chris's wife Jessica and their three children, Bailey, Jacob, and Parker. And we're going to be doing a little bit of an eisegesis today of their content, focusing mostly on over the past 2 years, but more specifically, just around 2 years ago, and then sort of a shift that took place maybe closer to 1 year ago, a year and a half. But so let's just get right into the news. So this channel used to be sort of a lot about parenting, I felt. It was they're a Christian family and they used to, well, they claim they still do, but they had a rule of no sugar for the kids, and really just had a very value based, sort of ethics based way of parenting that was maybe stricter than most people are used to. I'm not sure, depending on where you grew up and what your parents were like. But I thought it was pretty interesting. There was an amazing scene they had where Bailey, their daughter and the eldest of their kids, had gotten some free ice cream, I think it was, and then she wasn't allowed to have ice cream, so that they had her offer it to another person at the restaurant, just a total stranger, and had Bailey go up on her own, and give it to this other kid, and it was just a really beautiful, touching moment. And they still have moments like that. It's still a beautiful channel. But uh, I guess the main development that we've sort of seen is that the name change, of course, sort of a rebranding from it being Chris's channel to it being about the family, which it has always been about the family, but just the name change on that. And but at the same time, has had this other shift of Chris sort of trying to actively showcase his family, it seems, like in a way that's more direct and intentional, and how that has sort of played out. So the kids are really, I mean, Jessica's wonderful, but the kids are really why I think most people come to this channel. I mean, Chris is also a very interesting dude, um, but these kids are phenomenal. Bailey is just this brilliant, just exceptionally honest and unique, genuine, charismatic girl. When Jacob is really happy about something, it's just this really pure, um, excitement you see. Parker's a little bit too young to tell, just adorable, really young kid. Um, and it's just awesome to see these kids, with sort of, they don't really need any sort of dressing up or any, curating to be in a certain kind of way. It's, you know perfectly good content just as is. But what we've seen is, Chris lost his job, around a couple of years ago. He used to not just do YouTube full time, um, but then I mean, his sister hired him to help her with Haters Back Off, the book, and then he was helping out with the tour and then the Netflix show. So he's been having work through Colleen, but then also has been focusing on growing his channel. And then when he made the choice to really take his channel like more seriously, I guess, it started to feel different. Like it started to feel almost like he was making fun of his kids in a way. Like he sort of like, and let me explain, because I don't mean to make that accusation just like that. It's sort of basically, so at the end of every episode, he used to play guitar, and then after he played, he would sort of run through some questions or just talk about some things that happened that day, and it was this moment of connection. There was something very genuine about it. And he switched that, and what he does now is he will play guitar and talk about three things that happened that day. So he does the three things pretty quick, and he does it while he's playing guitar. And when he used to like even bring one of the kids there with him and sort of like talk about what was happening in a nice way, now he makes these little sort of jokes that are sort of kind of at his kids' expense, and they're not harsh jokes, but it's just the tone is a little bit sassy and sarcastic, and kind of pointing out just obvious things that kids mess up because they're kids. And my point isn't to say that Chris is being a bad father in this way. I think he's an exceptional father from what's showcased on his channel. It's more just that the tone has become somewhat sarcastic, I feel, and it's a little bit distancing. I really preferred it more the other way, when he would play guitar and then we would have that moment. Another thing is that there's just been an effort to sort of like add little adornments here and there, like just doing extra work, putting in little graphics, or trying to start meme trends, it feels like, with just jokes that he'll make in the episode. Like he had this thing where he was saying yes after he made a joke. This is like a year and a half ago, and then he would put up like hashtag dad jokes, and it just feels very forced. And all the he's been titling his episodes for people that don't already watch the channel. Like he will say like little girl falls into a pool or whatever, or like 3-year-old this or that, and it's like, we know you're kids, so it's made to address the outside, which is another thing. I mean, maybe that's working. I haven't checked the specific analytics as to how quickly his channel has grown, but it's been an interesting shift to watch. Still fantastic content, still really interesting. He's now well, for a while they did have a channel for Bailey that was inactive, but now they've had somewhat more active accounts for Bailey and Parker, which are interesting. I personally just really like the when they sort of give the kids the driver's seat, and let them vlog and let them do their thing, and sort of they're just really interesting people. But I don't know. I feel like these couple of years have sort of taken a toll on Chris in some way. I don't know what's going on, and that's sort of maybe why I'm making this video. It's just the channel has sort of become this story of, watching this guy lose his job and then sort of, take on this life as a YouTuber. And it's not like he hasn't, he used to be, or he still is, a magician. So, I mean, entertainment is no strange thing to him. But it's just interesting to watch this shift in how it's affected his family and how it's affected him personally. And he never talks about it. So it's just interesting to see